One of the best things in life is when we take ownership over our destiny.
Years, hopefully playing in the NFL. That's the dream.
Probably be getting my MBA somewhere.
I see myself being a probation officer.
I would like to say training for the next level.
I'm going to be around sports, I know that.
Get a grad degree
in coaching in college.
Just got accepted into a Master of Science in Instructional and Performance Technology. And
it wouldn't be that much of a problem just to wake up and help other people.
Your parents aren't going to be there forever. You need to kind of branch out and see what's really in the real world. Maybe take a walk down the street and see how some people live.
I was really blessed as a child growing up and having everything I needed, and I just feel like that's kind of like how our parents treated us. Like anything we need, we ask for it, we have it. To a point, it kind of made us feel entitled, and I think that's where it's kind of misunderstood. It's not that we're lazy, it's just that we've never had to work for anything.
There's always somebody that's working harder than you, always, in life.
I really just want to be in something where I'm getting paid well enough to support my family and just not having to be kind of stressed out about money.
Some kids have the drive and they're going to college regardless, but some kids are kind of on the fence about it, like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should. And, maybe they just need one person to talk to them to give them that extra boost, like, yeah, you can do it, you can get there.
The one thing we know for sure is the world has changed, and we know that we have to go on to have a chance to progress. I mean, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, the high school education might have been fine for a lot of the jobs that are out there. It's just not anymore. You're gonna have to go do something more than just high school, or you're gonna be at tremendous risk of being stuck, maybe even moving backwards.
I definitely think that high school, you really got to take it seriously. And that starts at a young age, though. We had a lot of talented athletes that were at my high school, and they didn't have the grades, to go on to that next level.
I do have a family member who has kind of struggled with his life, and he's got a lot of regrets because his body is just completely beat up. He needs surgeries that he can't afford because he doesn't have the education to work jobs that are going to pay him enough money to do those surgeries. He really regrets not having continued on with his education and really given himself a good chance to better his life.
I mean, if you find something you like, you roll with it, and that's a good thing. You don't have to declare your major until like your junior year or the end of your sophomore year, so you have time to actually figure it out. Me personally, it took me not even, a year, because once I kind of talked to Coach Pete and really seen, his way of life, it was kind of like, well, I want to be kind of like that one day.
The opportunities you get getting a college degree are much greater. Like, high school is really not good enough anymore with the competitive job market we have. If you're a high school grad and then someone else has an associate's degree or bachelor's degree in college, they're going to take the guy with more experience over you every time.
If a guy comes in right now and I'm a boss and he's coming with a degree and you come in with a high school diploma, I'm giving the job to the guy with the degree, no matter if I know you, if you're my friend.
I knew a group of guys that, I was cool with, I was friends with, but just went that wrong direction. I saw that, where that was headed, and, I knew that I wanted to move on to bigger and better things. I knew that I wanted to go on to college, graduate, play at the next level, and I knew that if I wanted to get that done, I definitely needed to surround myself with the guys that were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, don't worry about other people. If they got thoughts about you, then they aren't the true friends that you think that they are. So
basically, I think it's who you surround yourself with. I think that your surrounding influences are what really help determine what you do in life, and if you surround yourself with the bad, crew, then that's the route you're going to go. But if you surround yourself with those people that are going in the positive direction, I think you're likely to follow.
I think sometimes they get inspired. I had a friend call me the other day and was like, when I see you, doing your thing or, watching TV or something like that, and I see you, it kind of motivates me to go back, and go back to school and try.
A lot of guys I talk to, say, man, I wish I would have went to school right after, or, I wish I would have done what you were doing, and, all I can say is, it's never too late. school is, hopefully always going to be there. So, whenever it is, if they decide that they need to go back, I think it's a good choice to be made.
If you don't shoot for the stars, you don't really know what you could do. If you have a dream, that's like always a good thing to have, but a dream becomes a plan when you start working towards it. When you put a plan together, you stop procrastinating about it and just start wanting it. And when you get a desire to want something, then you'd be willing to work hard for it, and you wouldn't let anything stop you from doing it.
It's weird how things can kind of take off and take your life a whole different direction than you thought it would be. But I think it's all for the best.
To us, preparation's everything. That's really all you can do is prepare your best. Who knows how this is going to turn out? And most of the time it doesn't turn out exactly how we want it to, and certainly like we thought it was going to. But that doesn't mean that it's not very good. And that's the beauty of life and the journey. There's so much of that we can't control, but what we can control is our preparation.
You see so many times guys, think they have it planned out. They're going to go, play professional this or do that. And, after that, if that doesn't work out, they don't know what to turn to. And I'm thankful that I had, really good parents and, a good support system that definitely instilled that, academics are what's really going to get you ahead in life.
Even in sports, a lot of my friends would say, I wish I would have worked harder. I wish I would have lifted more. Or wish I would have practiced a lot more. And I think that's the same thing in school. Maybe people wish they would have went to the library more, wish they would have took harder classes instead of taking the easy way out. And so I think that's an example that everyone could see. I think it starts in middle school, really, because in middle school, in our school, even in math, because you could take algebra in 8th grade and that really set you apart in freshman year, and then you could take geometry, I remember, and then you could take pre-algebra, calculus, or pre-calculus and then calculus. And so I think really in middle school you start setting yourself apart because you want to be in a classroom with other successful students. And so if you put yourself in a good environment in the classroom, it sets yourself up for success.
My coach in high school, he just kept me staying in my ear about getting good grades. It's always gonna make you better. Regardless what you do, if you can get good grades just to even go to college.
There's always one more thing to look at. There's always one more thing to do. And the people that are most prepared, in our opinion, in our experience, are the people that are going to have the most success.
I definitely enjoyed school all throughout my high school years, made a lot of friends, and that hard work kind of carried over starting that sophomore year all the way up until, my junior, senior season. And that's kind of when I knew that I had that opportunity to maybe pursue goals at the next level. And I knew that, okay, well, if I'm going to get the opportunity to play football at the next level, I definitely want to take my studies seriously as well. And so I knew that they go hand in hand, and if one didn't work, I could always fall back on the other.
And that's where I think people really need to decide and go, listen, I have toughness in me. I have competitiveness in me. I can work through this. This is hard. When I get over this hurdle, when I get through this or around this brick wall, I'm going to be better for it, and I'm going to be further along my path that I really want to be on.
My freshman year, I played as a freshman. Sophomore year, played quite a bit, and then my junior year, once Ian Johnson was gone, kind of saw myself getting to fill into that role, playing a little bit more. And third game into the season, just unfortunately got hurt, and it crushed me. I felt like I had, worked so hard throughout my whole entire high school career, and those 2 years here, and to have it just taken away with a season-ending injury like ACL, it just really took a blow to me, and it was hard. It was hard to get over. I talked to my parents a lot, talked to Coach Pete a lot. But thankfully I had great teammates, great support system here in Boise as well as in Texas, back home, and that helped me through that. But no, that was definitely the time in my life where I was definitely just down.
I've had times where it's been tough. I don't think I've ever said I want to give up. I think those are kind of times that make you want to push harder, even though it might be hard at the time. 3 years ago, my dad passed away, and it was pretty tough. But at the same time, I didn't want to just go in a hole. Life moves on, unfortunately, and it really doesn't wait for anybody to figure their stuff out. So I think knowing that and knowing that every day presents an opportunity, you really got to take advantage of it and, be better from what you've learned and what you've been through, and just try to grow and learn from those experiences.
Life is not easy, and I feel like if God, put you to it, He gonna bring you through it.
So I've had 3 foot surgeries in a matter of a year and a half, and that was something that I'd never had happened to me or anything. And so there was definitely some points that I was just sick of everything. I was on crutches constantly, had a handicap pass, driving around campus, and I just, I didn't feel normal. I couldn't control the injuries. I couldn't control the timetable that I had, but I could control how effective each day was. I could manage my time, go as hard as I can at ISMI, then go as hard as I could over at Preco, our athletic academic center. When I went to bed, I felt like, all right, I worked really hard that day. And then just keep building on that, and then I started seeing progress.
I was wrestling actually. I was probably 8 years old, and it was my first match ever. And I remember I got put on my back and the dude was gonna pin me, and I could hear my dad yelling, don't give up, don't give up. First time wrestling, I didn't know that you're supposed to fight and everything. And so instead of giving up, I listened to my dad, and I kept fighting. And then at the end of the match, he pulled me aside. He said, "JC, I'm proud of you." And I said, "Why? I lost." And he said, "Because you didn't give up."
Quitting has always just been like I just can't do it. I don't. I mean, if things get harder in life, there should be no reason for you to quit. I mean, as hard as things have been, you just shouldn't. All you can do is really just push yourself and see where the road will take you. But if you quit, you just never will know.
Live your life for somebody. Like, have a reason to work hard. I think that would be the best reason to do something. Just find somebody that cares about you, and why do they care about you, and kind of give back to them.
Things are going to happen in life, unfortunate things that you never saw coming, but that's life, that's adversity, and, you can either choose to, just be down about it and not do anything about it, or you can just take a positive approach and, I'm going to get through this and push through it.
We really think that commitment is a behavior of integrity, that to be a person of true character and integrity, you need to be committed to things, meaning that you're going to have to work through some things that are tough in your life. Anything worthwhile in life is going to be hard and difficult. And so with that being said, it's going to take some commitment to work through this.
Most people think that hard work is when things are tough, and that's hard work. But I think that hard work is really when you really, really want something, you do anything you have to do to really get it.
I have a little brother, matter of fact, in high school, he always talking about how hard it is. And it's just like, this is nothing yet, but if you just keep on working your hardest, as long as you give 110%, then most likely you'll be okay. If you go to class, most likely you're gonna pass.
As a sophomore, I hadn't been offered any scholarships or anything, so I really tried to bust my tail and everything. And we had another receiver who's a year older than me who plays at Washington. And so him and I worked together every day after school. We actually joined track just to get faster, just because we felt like they would help us in football. And, we obviously knew that our grades had to be right. We wanted to be in National Honor Society and make sure, we stayed above a 3.3, and that was important to us.
And so with this preparation has to come tremendous discipline. And if you're strong enough to have discipline day in and day out, month in and month out, I promise you're going to have success.
I think you always can, always improve. But for the most part, I think it's really helped me, the process of being here and going to school and playing football and having to be so organized and, disciplined has helped me, be in the right position that I really do. I'm really focused and detailed and, really outlined, I guess, in how I live my life.
I think that one of the biggest things that I've learned just from being in this football program from Coach Pete is simplify your life. I think that if you have a lot of things going on, say you have, a lot of, bad influences, or say you have, family issues, or say you have, this and that, I think you should just, simplify your life a little bit, cut it down, make it more simple, and just focus on the things that are really important to you.
It's all about exposure. It's exposure to different communities. It's exposure to different people. It's exposure to different cultures. And they're going to feel awkward and different. But when you're opening your mind and seeing what works, all of a sudden something's going to click and you're going to grow and you're going to have more opinions. It's just life-changing. It's going to help you become a more well-rounded person.
I definitely think that I've done a great job here in college, learning a lot of valuable information, meeting a lot of great people. I think that college is definitely about who you meet. So I think that I've definitely set up some opportunities for myself.
One thing I learned is to be more social. Just get out there more, like widen your friend variety. If you have a lot of friends on the campus and a lot of connections, that can actually take you somewhere.
You can't get that working, a job out of high school or just staying at home with your high school friends. Like I know because I'm from Texas, so I'm 2,500 miles away from home. So I can't, jump in my car and drive 2 hours and go see my parents. I gotta take a 4-hour plane ride down to Texas. So I'm kind of stuck up here, which I really wanted to do, to get away and kind of grow on my own, find out who I was. And college is a great time to do that.
I think maturity-wise, you just got to grow as an individual and you just learn about life in general. I mean, sometimes growing up you can think that, life is just a straight shot, but there's obstacles that are going to hop in your way, and it's kind of up to you of how you want to face them and, how you want to get that done.
I had a teacher, he said, there's a time and place for everything, and that place is college. So if you have an idea coming out of high school, what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with jumping right into that 2-year program.
If you're interested in something, do it. If that's your goal, you can do it and you can be successful at it. Any education after high school is great, whether it's medical, whether it's auto mechanic, welding. I feel like whatever you think is gonna make you successful, but really kind of look at it and try to plan it out.
I mean, there's hundreds of scholarships out there that most people don't even know about. But you just got to go ask and find out about them and apply for them, because if no one else knows about them and you're the only one who applies, you're going to get that scholarship. And any money helps.
You got so much lifetime left in order to make something of yourself. You rather want to do it now when you're young and you have so much energy than later on when you're old, and you'll feel like a lot of regrets, like you made a lot of mistakes.
Look at the big picture, take a step back, and yeah, even though making money right now would seem, like the best choice immediately, but I think the more you go back to school, or going back to school, really opens up your options later down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years later, but in the big picture of things, what is really 4 or 5 years, you probably make, the best friends you have and, go through the funnest time of your life in that 4 or 5 years. I think it's a growing process and kind of a good transition from, being a kid to being a man. And
there's some doubters out there. There may be some parents that are doubters that say, oh, you can't do that. Well, to me, that's even more motivating. And then once you start making your plan work, once you start really taking ownership, then all of a sudden things start to change for you.
Here at Boise State, we're all about finishing practice, finishing the lifts, finishing your meetings, everything to just be a finisher in life. And that's something that a lot of people can go for it, but not a lot of people can actually do it. And so that's something that we really try to emphasize, and something that I think that if people start doing, it'll start affecting their life in a positive way.
Don't just settle for, okay, I got through high school, okay, let me do a little bit of college. Oh, it got too hard. Just keep fighting and keep going on.
Being in college is a great thing because everybody doesn't get that opportunity, so why go back and be a used to be? You don't want to go back to your hometown and like, I used to be, this, I used to be in college. You want to keep going and, get that degree. And
I've had some great experiences in college. I've met a lot of great, outstanding people. I've learned a lot of life lessons. I see where you're going at with why you think that right now might be the end of school, but I mean, I think you should just keep on, just push through it, give it a try, give it a shot, at least a few semesters. And, if you don't like it, then all right, it's not for you. But I really think that, you'll enjoy it though.
I've seen a lot of people that, they say they're gonna go back. I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna go back. But in reality, it never happens. You go and then you get lazy and then you never wanna go to school again.
I always want to get better at something. Like, even if I'm the best in the world at it, I still want to be better than where I was last year. Say I got a B on the test, next time I'm going to try to get an A.
If you don't like what the adults around you, if you don't like their plan, if you don't like what they're telling you to do, then you come up with a plan and you start taking action and you start showing a little passion and drive for it. Then all of a sudden the adults are usually good to sit back and say, okay, you show us how it should be done.
Everything that I did, I felt like it was worth it. When I first started, Like I used to just stay after school every single day and either work in the weight room to try to get stronger, or I stay up every night just try to keep studying and make sure that I know everything that I'm doing. And I usually just make sure that I never put things off.
My mom, I can't even imagine like how she feels because I can't even express the words. Like every time I come home, every time I talk to her, she just always tells me she's proud of me and how she loves me. And
I mean, it's fun, you learn a lot, and it's a great experience, and it's something I think everyone should experience once in a lifetime.
Anything worth having is going to come at a price, and if it were easy, then everyone would do it. You know, everyone would have it. The most successful people are the ones that have paid the price for it, and you know, if that is going to a couple extra years of school or, you know, getting better grades in school, then that's something to be looked at.
I think everybody is go-on material, and I think that's the important thing. I don't think it's just all about the book learning or the actual experience of becoming a better at our craft. I think it's that coupled with this go-on experience of everything that comes with this education that we're going to get.
Never settle for being mediocre. Always strive to be the best at whatever you're doing in life.
I got no regrets.
Finish.